Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. For today's video, we're going to be covering the recent crash that we just saw over the last 24 hours. Many of the altcoins went down anywhere from 20 to 30%, which is a scenario that I have been talking about for the last month. I've been waiting with a large amount of cash on the sidelines, ready to deploy it on the first major correction that we get, and this morning I woke up to one of the most amazing sights that I've seen over the last couple months, and that was a major dip and a buy opportunity that gave us a great opportunity of getting in, accumulating some of these altcoins that we've been watching for, and looking to hold until new all-time highs. This is the best scenario that could have possibly happened because not only did the people that were waiting on the sideline get to buy, but the buyback that we've already seen thus far is perfectly showing why I believe that there's a lot more strength in the market than there is sellers, and why we're about to be breaking new all-time highs very soon. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Always remember to click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos like the one provided for you here. And make sure you guys sign up and join the Discord server of over 21,000 members and growing. This is where you're going to be able to congregate with the rest of my community and share your own thoughts on the market. Links are in the description for you guys to go ahead and sign up. On top of that, if you guys want to download my free ebook and Beginner's Guide to Crypto, it's going to help you guys understand some of the most important basics on how to be profitable. There's also a link in the description to check that out as well. With that being said, guys, we got a lot of really exciting stuff to cover today, so without further ado, let's jump right in the video today. Alrighty guys, so here we are taking a look at the Bitcoin chart, and as you guys can see, we have had a big sell candle that came in here. At this point, about half of it, and maybe even over half, has actually got bought up, which is really to be expected on these flash crashes. These are scenarios where most people aren't expecting it. It happens so fast that really the only way that you're going to get filled for the majority of the time is if you have buy order set. But these are the greatest opportunities to buy, and really whenever we see these massive panics, these quick sell-offs, usually these aren't very long-lived, and then that points that there's going to be a lot more bullish there's going to be a lot more bullish upside to come. And that's exactly what I think is happening right now. If we dive into the shorter time frames and I share with you guys what this chart looks like, on the 1 hour time frame, we can see that there is an insane amount of wick that came in here. We had this big sell-off, right? Came all the way down, depending on the exchange you're looking at. This is the Coinbase chart, and this actually came down to about 43,000. And so this is kind of the level that I've been watching for the little while now. Anywhere from about 4,000, anywhere from about 40,000 to 43 was the support that I gave you guys yesterday. I said on a low end target, if we get a correction, to target 43,000, and that's exactly where we wicked off of. Now, we didn't quite go all the way down to about 40 or to 42, but at this point, it doesn't necessarily matter. You know, we analyze these levels, and they're mainly just zones. There's not one specific line that you can draw and say, okay, this is the answer right here. Really what we're looking for is a zone, and what we can see that we actually bounced off of is pretty much just this one right here, right? It's a little bit above the recent resistance that we saw inside of this correction, but this was a short-term support. When we flipped it up here, we rallied up to about 52, 53,000, and then we pulled back to retest this same support level, right? And so this in and of itself, I believe, is the finished correction. I don't think that we need to go any lower. Yeah, we saw a big correction and it was really fast. That doesn't necessarily mean that we need to come all the way back down in here and retest some of these lower levels. I think that this is really enough to shake out all the weak hands, to really gain enough liquidity for the smart money to push this price back upwards. And so now we're at this point where we really only have one other major resistance left, in my opinion, and that's going to be taking us upward here to 59,000 all the way down to about 55,000. So approximately right here. We'll just go ahead with that. This is really the next major resistance that we have. Now, we did stop a little bit prematurely of hitting that right here. We came down, grabbed some liquidity, but in my opinion, based off of the buyback that we're seeing, as long as we can stay above 47,000, I think that this thing is going to be set to go to new all-time highs. And we should see, you know, a quick buyback up to this level. We might see a little bit of a pullback, but regardless, I believe that this thing is going to be breaking out, making new all-time highs very soon. And so this is literally one of the most bullish looking setups. I'm telling you guys, whenever you see this type of a sell-off, it happens really, really quickly, but then it's immediately bought up. Look at this wick that we see down in here. Massive wick. I mean, if we draw a price tool, from the bottom of this wick to pretty much where we closed, that was 11% that we bounced in that 1 hour time frame. And so there's a lot of volatility coming in here. You know, you can draw your conclusions as to why that is, but really guys, none of that matters, because the fact of the matter is we've came down, we've hit the correction that I was watching for. I redeployed cash, I bought some new altcoins, I added to previous altcoin bags that I'd made some good profits off of, and now in my opinion, you know, correction's over, we're most likely just going to keep going up. And so if you're watching this video, I still think it's a great opportunity. You know, we're still down quite a bit. Many of the altcoins are still down significantly, and it's just providing a really good setup. And here's one of the things I wanted to share with you guys is actually the Bitcoin dominance chart. In my last video, I talked about this, and I really just pinpointed the fact that I foresee, you know, a short-term bounce coming inside of the Bitcoin dominance. And we can see this big wick that came in here. Now, this itself can actually go up higher. But when we do zoom it into the shorter time frames, you know, this doesn't look necessarily that bullish either. But anything's possible. At this point in the cycle, you know, this itself could be the short-term breakout before we do start to see this thing trend up a little bit higher. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that. But a lot of the altcoins are regaining that dominance, and this is kind of turning into a bigger wick. Now, keep in mind, guys, that with these wicks, this can signal, you know, bullish exhaustion. You know, the bulls pushed it always up, all the way up here, and then they got rejected. So this can signal bullish exhaustion. Or, you know, in some situations, whenever we see these wicks, it can often be what I call test wicks, where you see this big wick happen, a price immediately pulls back to the breakout point. But these are oftentimes signals showing where the price is about to head next. Now, it can mean either or. Mainly what these big wicks are going to signal is bullish exhaustion, because the bulls got knocked all the way back down here. But the fact of the matter is, we are seeing Bitcoin starting to make the first signs of a breakout into new all-time highs. Generally speaking, when that happens, it's usually a signal to sell the altcoins, because the altcoins are going to get short-term bled out for a little bit. Bitcoin's going to outperform. And so I'm really not surprised to see this, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this continue to trend up, even though this is a pretty ugly-looking wick. So that's kind of what I'm personally going to be watching out for. You know, not much has changed overall. We can still see this thing trend down. When we look at the bigger time frames, this looks ugly. It really doesn't look like anything that's going to be bouncing up and making a new higher high. That's just my personal thoughts. And so that's kind of what I'm going to be continuing to stick to as we venture closer towards the all-time low at about 36.5%. You know, the next move for us is going to be important, because if we end up coming back down to this all-time low support, you know, we could see a bounce here. A bigger bounce. I don't know exactly how big, but we could see a bounce off this level. But the most bullish scenario for the altcoins would obviously be if we could sell below that. This becomes resistance, and that takes us into another new low, because that would ultimately signal bullish price discovery for the altcoin BTC pairs. We would see the altcoins really take off significantly. A lot of new money would come flooding into the market, because ultimately we've just made a new low. And that's basically like when Bitcoin breaks the all-time highs at 20,000 and everything goes crazy. It's kind of the same scenario psychologically. If the altcoin dominance ultimately causes the Bitcoin to drop below this level, and the altcoin dominance is breaking out, we would expect to see a lot of euphoria step into the market once we ultimately go into price discovery in the bearish end, right? So this is something that's really solid, guys. This is really a good thing overall. As long as we can continue to see this buyback hold support, as long as we can hold support, in my opinion, above about 47,000, that's kind of the level that I'm personally watching for. I think that this is merely just a shakeout before we start getting even bigger impulses upwards to those all-time highs, right? We hadn't seen a pullback this entire move up. I felt like we were due for one. One of the things that I pinpointed in my last video that actually kind of shook me out was the actual RSI bearish divergence, right? So what I was sharing with you guys was this resistance here. I said, well, it looks like we've broken out. Because we've broken out, it's most likely going to go up here to 59K. And that was the exact moment in which we faked out, right? We can see that we temporarily broke below that, but now we're back below that resistance. And so, you know, it is a little bit of an uncertain time when it comes to the RSI. You know, obviously we were back below this resistance. This is still bullish or bearish divergence, I should say. Ever since this point here, since about the end of July, you know, we've been kind of consolidating up here, and we have still made lower lows and lower highs amongst this descending resistance on the RSI. So that itself is looking a little bit more weak, especially with the fake out. That tells me that there's a lot less momentum. But the fact is, guys, one of the big keys that I want to point to you guys right now is if we continue to hold support above 47,000 and this continues to trend upwards, you know, ultimately, these markets can stay oversold or overbought for extended periods of time. In this case, we are below this resistance. This is looking more and more overbought as the price is continuing to trend up. And so this can continue to break up bullish. This can get one more new high. We could see a big push up here before we ever get any type of major breakout below this resistance. But when I take a time to just zoom out and look at this, obviously this doesn't look the greatest for the bulls. And so this is kind of what I'm watching out for with Bitcoin, guys. Really, we need to continue to analyze the shorter time frames, continue to see what the hell is actually going to happen here. Based off of this buyback, I think it's more likely that, we've pretty much reclaimed this level already. Let's dive into a little bit of a bigger time frame here. So this level at 47,000, right? Let's go. Really, guys, if we analyze the wicks, but let's just go to the bottom of these wicks. It's going to be right below that. It's going to be 46,000 and a half, right? So this was a level, right? This was a support level. It was resistance over here. We've actually already reclaimed that inside of this move. And so based off of this, we could get some accumulation and sideways action here. But regardless, I think that this is going to ultimately take us up higher. That's just my personal thoughts. Shorter time frames still look bullish. Not much has changed. Flip this level. Most likely we're going to get continue to buyback. And this is just going to further be a V bottom, right? A big shakeout. Shake out all the weak hands. Gather a little bit more liquidity before smart money pushes this to the upside. Because the thing that we're continuing to watch for here, guys, is still, once again, the final blow off top in this cycle. We're still looking at the big one to close out the bull run. The most important one, the most important one of this cycle, right? We need to see how this ultimately accumulates. So let's take this chart. Let's go back to the BTC chart. And let's go analyze some similarities here. Because this is really the biggest point that I'm trying to make, guys. Any dip that we get should be bought, not just by smart money, but by you guys as a whole. We should always be looking to enter back into new positions, reaccumulating some of our best performing positions anytime we get one of these major sell-offs. Because the thing that you guys need to understand is the next move that's coming is the most parabolic one of the entire cycle. This is the one that's going to make the least amount of sense to most people. Chances are, if you've just barely started getting into this market and you're going to be preparing yourself to see this type of stuff, it's kind of tricky because of the simple fact what you're going to end up seeing is uptrending markets that don't make a lot of sense, right? Trending markets that are going up so quick, so fast, with almost no pullbacks that you're not going to know when to get in. You're not going to know when to get out. Everybody's making so much money. You're going to start hearing all kinds of crazy stuff. Bitcoin to $1 million, in my opinion, is going to be one of the big sell signals. When you start seeing people calling for $1 million per Bitcoin, in my opinion, $1 million per Bitcoin is kind of going to be similar to what people were saying here at 65K when they were calling for 100K Bitcoin, which, obviously I was doing the exact same thing. If there's no major pullback in sight, then you're going to continue to look for the higher target. In this case, it was 100K per Bitcoin when we were at 65. And so, in my opinion, guys, during this next rally, we're going to see Bitcoin really start to cement itself, really start to take off in a way that we've yet to really see up to this point. And this is kind of what I'm expecting. Bitcoin's going to make a big rally, one of the most insane market cycle pushes into a blow-off top that we've ever seen. Not just for Bitcoin, but as the markets as a whole, guys. This is literally where we're going to make and have the opportunity of making a significant amount of financial opportunity. I'm telling you guys, I can't stress this enough. I've been saying this for a very long period of time. If you guys have been watching my channel, I've been talking about this exact moment in the cycle for so long. This is where I've literally geared all of my investments for. This is the whole point of why I've been investing. It isn't to sell or take profits any point throughout here, even though you could have sold 65, rebought the dip, compounding gains is great. For me, I didn't care about all of that. What I cared about was selling at the end of the cycle, which is going to be the end of the year threshold. This is what I'm personally watching out for. I strongly believe that the end of this cycle is going to be one of so much profitability, no matter what you're investing in. We've seen a lot of NFTs really starting to take off, guys. I mean, this is actually one that I invested into, just quickly to share with you guys, not to get too off topic. But I mean, this is one that I invested into. I mean, this stuff is dumb. I'm 100% in agreement with most of you guys. Most of you that have been seeing this NFT craze probably have no idea why any of this is valuable. And, really, aside from NFTs themselves being a pretty revolutionary technology, these aren't valuable. These are stupid. I mean, these are worth, the current floor price, meaning the cheapest one, is worth 77.77 SOL. Currently, Solana is worth, about $180, and so that's about a $14,000 floor. That means this dumb little NFT right here is worth $14,000. And these ones are worth even more. Would you guys spend $14,000 on this picture of a dumb ape eating a grilled cheese sandwich? Well, most of you guys probably wouldn't. And this is the type of delusion that we're seeing inside of the markets. You know, I got in at the pre-sale, so I'm not personally buying any of these. I don't recommend going out and buying all of these. They might go up in value, but when it comes to NFT, guys, I literally do not understand them as much as you do. Yes, I've made some really good money off of them, but I've only bought 3 of them. 2 out of 3 of those were really good. One of them was a complete dud that I lost all my money on. And so I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to these NFTs. It's literally just praying that some idiot is willing to buy at a higher price than you are. It's even way more risky than crypto is. And the fact is, guys, this is the point of the cycle where we're starting to see these delusions. And the whole reason I brought that up isn't to flaunt that I've made a lot of money off these NFTs. It's merely just to share with you guys that people are literally spending $14,000 on these stupid apes. They hold no value. They're not doing anything long term. It's literally just a picture back to an NFT, right? So it's technically a token. That's the whole reason why these NFTs are valuable. It's because there's a token behind them. I can send that NFT to your wallet. You can open that wallet and you can basically have a picture of an ape, right? So at the end of the day, these aren't valuable. It is a bubble. This is the closest thing to beanies babies that we've ever seen. Not Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, in my opinion, solves a great purpose in society. But the NFTs themselves are 100% just a big rug pull waiting to happen. When the end of the cycle happens, you know, people are going to be buying these NFTs. People are going to be clogging up the Ethereum network like we've already seen up to this point. Gas fees are skyrocketing right now. And we're going to see these NFTs be worth even more amounts of money. People are going to be buying these for so much money. They already are, and it's not making any sense. And we haven't even got to this blow off top yet. And so it's kind of hard to analyze where the exact cycle top is going to be if you haven't been around for the cycles long enough. But now that we are gearing up for this type of a move, you guys really need to prepare yourself to see some of the most insane claims, some of the dumbest things that people are going to be spending their money on. People are going to be making millions off of some of these dumb things like NFTs. And it's truly a crazy time. But with that being said, you guys need to prepare yourself because there will be an end to all of this. You don't want to get stuck holding too many of these NFTs because once the market starts to sell off and once the prices of these assets start to really come down quickly, you're going to see everybody rush to the exits at the same times. You're going to see the floor prices of these dumb NFTs, you know, be worth $14,000 one day and then the next day they're down 70%. And you're going to see them continue to crash lower because here's the thing. I can come over here, I can sell one of mine for, you know, 60 SOL, for example, and the floor price is going to match 60 SOL, whatever I listed it as. So when there's a bunch of people that are trying to get out of their NFTs and they're starting to sell them at a lower price than what the market is showing, everybody's going to follow suit and do the exact same thing. And the thing with NFTs, guys, is they're far less liquid than cryptos are. You can't go market sell these necessarily. You're going to have to go see what the floor price is and hope somebody buys it from you. And so, in my opinion, guys, if you are going to venture into these NFTs, be doing it with a lot of precaution, right? Well, the amount of money that I've personally invested into these is less than $10,000. I've made, you know, a significant amount of money off of that $10,000, but I'm not even hardly investing any of my portfolio. It's such a tiny, tiny amount because I don't feel comfortable with the NFT movement. I feel comfortable with what EcoFi is creating. I believe fine arts are valuable because I can actually get the physical art piece shipped to my house if I accumulate all of the NFTs associated with it, right? With these apes, it's literally just a digital piece of a picture, right? That's literally all it is. So there's no value behind it. These are going to come crashing down. They're going to be worthless. You know, maybe long term, some of these take off. CryptoPunks, in my opinion, hold somewhat of a long term projection, but even those are going to cave in price as well. If you aren't expecting, you know, well, I should say, if you're expecting an 80% correction, 70-80% correction in Bitcoin and the rest of the altcoins once this cycle tops, you should be targeting a 95+% correction inside the NFTs because they hold far less value than any of the cryptos actually do. And so we're at the very beginning of this, guys. We are at the very, very beginning of this next major move that's coming inside of Bitcoin. We saw our first major shakeout of this recent bounce that we saw off the lows. Now, in my opinion, the next type of moves are going to be something like this, where we're going to be kind of building that foundation for the final blow off top. I think a lot of people are going to get really hesitant to sell once they see it go up so fast. They're going to start thinking to themselves, "Man, this has made me so much money. I can just hold this forever. I can stake this stuff forever, and I'm going to be set for the rest of my life. I'll just live off of the interest." These are great cryptos. They're in good hands. They're with amazing projects that are going to continue to be the future of everything with finance, everything in the common world. You know, I am set for the rest of my life. You're going to hear a lot of people saying this type of stuff once we get up for this blow off top. I'm telling you guys right now, as somebody who made that mistake in the last cycle, just take your profits, get out of the market, look to buy it back into the market at the beginning of 2023, because that's going to be our projected cycle bottom down here. Beginning of 2023, you know, just sit out a year, take your profits at the end of this one. Whatever you have, guys, whatever you have. It doesn't have to be at the very top of the cycle. You could sell at any point throughout this rally. I can guarantee you that you will be so happy with yourself if you are somebody that ends up taking profits. You're not the person that ends up holding throughout the bear market, because I've done that, and I'm telling you right now, I would have been so much better off had I just been willing to sell at the end of that cycle rather than get greedy and try and hold, try and justify why this is going to keep going up, because at the end of the day, guys, these valuations make zero sense. Most of these cryptos are way too overvalued right now. You know, a couple of years ago, they weren't. In my opinion, they were undervalued. That was all the way back down in here, but now we're at this point of the blow off top. Things are just simply not realistic. These aren't realistic valuations. Long term, yeah, I do believe that these are. But right in this moment, they're not. This cycle is a little bit too early. We're seeing a lot of funny money flowing around here, especially with the NFTs. NFTs have been a big, spotlight of the crypto space. And that to me is the perfect signal that just says, yo, these things are a bubble. This is in a bubble right now. Not just NFTs, but cryptos as a whole. If we're seeing these NFTs go up this much amount of money, and there's going to be people on the back end watching this video thinking, oh man, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. These NFTs are life-changing. These NFTs are going to completely change the world. Everything's going to be NFTs. I agree with you, but we're not there yet. These are a bubble. These will come crashing down. And it's important to understand that you need to get out of the market while the going's good. You don't want to be holding through, because if you're holding a lot of illiquid NFTs, that's even worse than holding a lot of liquid shitcoins, in my opinion. These will come crashing down way harder than you can imagine. And so if you're going to gamble with the NFTs, consider it a gamble, because I'm telling you right now, these are the worst bubble in crypto right now. Consider it a gamble. Risk a small amount of your money that you're going to. Like I said, guys, I have quite a big portfolio worth of crypto, right? The amount of money that I invested in NFTs was less than 0.5%, maybe less than 0.25%. It's not very much at all. It's a tiny little fraction of my portfolio that I invest in these NFTs. So I think that you guys, if you're going to do the same thing, really just pay attention to that. Understand this coming from somebody who's really spent a lot of money, a lot of time understanding the emotional psychology of this stuff. Because where we're at, guys, let's pull up the Wall Street cheat sheet before we actually close off this video. This video has kind of just been me rambling for the most part. There's a lot of good buying opportunities out there in the market if you're willing to buy. These are the days that you do want to buy. I know I added to my positions a little bit, but this is really the chart that I wanted to share with you guys today. So disbelief. Let's just go through here and analyze these before we wrap things up. I know I've kind of rambled a little bit. Let's give you guys a little bit more value to kind of take away from today's video. So disbelief. This is the beginning of the rally. This is where nobody actually thinks that the bull run is happening. In my opinion, it was pretty obvious to tell the disbelief phase was back down in here. Right? You get the first impulse off the lows after the crash, and then we get this massive panic. This was disbelief, right? This entire move here was disbelief. This was the disbelief phase where nobody actually thinks that the new cycle is to be had. Let's drag this back over here, right? Disbelief. And then we get hope. This is where we start breaking out and start uptrending. Everybody gets really excited. Everybody gets optimistic about things. And in my opinion, hope was right here. That was the run up to 65,000. This is where we saw hope, right? We broke past the all-time highs. Everybody started getting hopeful, right? Oh, wow, this is actually a new bull run. We've broken the previous all-time highs. Elon Musk started buying. All of these institutions are buying. China said that this is a great opportunity of a currency. And then sure enough, we get that sell-off, washes out the weak hands, but this was the hope phase, right? Everybody was getting hopeful in this period that Bitcoin was going to make them rich, that Bitcoin was going to go up to $100,000, $200,000, right? And then this is what takes us to that blow-off top. Now keep in mind, we didn't see a correction inside of this chart on the Wall Street cheat sheet. Bitcoin topped at 65, we had that pullback, so it is a little bit different. But nonetheless, the emotions are still the same. Now guys, this is what we're gearing up for, this move here. Optimism, belief, thrill, and euphoria, where we're going to see things just go so parabolic so quickly, and we're going to see a lot of people get overly invested at the worst possible time in the cycle. This is where we're going to see it happen, right here. This is what you need to prepare for. Optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria. It's all right there in the charts. You know, obviously, we're not quite there at this point yet, but I'm telling you guys, you're going to see this happen. And as somebody who's literally taken all of my time to analyze exactly what I thought was going to be happening at the end of the year, this is literally where my trading plan has been pretty much developed for, was this final end of the year blow off top. Because keep in mind, guys, that if Bitcoin goes up this quickly, altcoins are going to go up that much more. Many of the altcoin Bitcoin pairs are looking so phenomenal. Like if we come over here and we take a look at ETH BTC, let's go over here and look at Poloniex. Oops. Poloniex, ETH Bitcoin. This is itself, it really hasn't even made a parabolic cycle, right? This is just leaving the accumulation phase. We're just beginning that major breakout point, and we're going to start seeing this thing go parabolic, right? This thing is going to go up a lot in this next 4 months of the cycle. We're going to see altcoins severely outperform Bitcoin. The same thing can be said for a number of the other altcoins out there. XRP itself looks phenomenal, and I've drawn this exact chart a few different times. You know, let's just remove that and talk about it from face value. This itself is a big inverse head and shoulder formation. This is a big reversal pattern. We're starting to set in our higher highs. In my opinion, the next resistance is going to be all the way up here. Once we flip this level, we're going to get some major impulses into new all-time highs as all of the altcoin Bitcoin pairs start to go parabolic. Many of them have lagged behind Bitcoin. Some of them have outperformed. But for the most part, we've seen a lot of these things really yet to take off in this cycle. We saw 2 cycles in the last one. First big altcoin pump in 2017. Second big altcoin pump to close out the end of the year and the bull run. We have yet to see one at all this cycle. That's why I believe that we will get a massive one coming, because the signs are all just showing exactly that. We're looking at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance looks like it's about to fall off a cliff. You know, Bitcoin we know is gearing up for its final blow off top in the cycle. And so the opportunity is here, guys. You know, we've started to see a lot of delusion with the NFTs. In my opinion, that was the clear-cut NFT delusion and crypto bubble top signal, is really just seeing how much money people are flipping these NFTs for. Now, we could see those start to come back down, start to taper off. Some of them will continue to outperform as the altcoins start to take off. Once ETH starts hitting $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 per, I think that that's going to have a negative impact on the NFT prices, mainly because, you know, some of these NFTs are going for, you know, multi-Ethereum. Well, if Ethereum starts doing a 4 or 5x in the next couple months, obviously that you would expect those to go down. There's only so much money people are going to be willing to spend on these NFTs because they aren't that valuable. It's merely speculation. And so I believe that we're gearing up for the cycle top. You know, all of the signs are there. The only thing that we have yet to see up to this point is literally just Bitcoin making that final blow off top. But I think that that's really where it's going to be happening. Altcoins are going to outperform. You know, we're going to be able to make a significant amount of money, life-changing opportunity. And so I just wanted to give you guys this video as kind of a way to coach you through it. Keep things, you know, level-headed. Keep your emotions out the door. Just stay with the logic here. Focus on that end of the year time frame. We're going to be able to lock up a lot of profits. We're going to be able to make a lot of money. And as long as we're willing to sell into that hype, we're not worried about selling the exact top. You know, as long as we're just selling into that hype at some point, we're going to take that opportunity. We're going to take all of that financial gain that we've made, and we're just going to be thankful for it, guys. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what you guys are able to do with this opportunity that we've been given. You know, the trading plan's been gearing up for this exact moment of time, so now it's only time to execute on that plan. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you found value in this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos. If you guys would like to join the Discord server or download my free ebook, links are in the description for that. Once again, guys, the biggest discount I'm ever doing inside of my paid group is live. The signals, the video course, and my new beginner course are all at the same low rate of 50% off. If you guys want to get in here, it's only going to be available for a short period of time. Mainly, guys, there's a lot of profitable signals that are going to be had over the next 4 months, but obviously the cycle is coming to an end. I will be doing shorting inside of the bear market, but predominantly what I'm going to be focusing on for myself is looking for new opportunities to diversify my profit. Dividend stocks, stocks in general, commodities are super hot. I'm going to be looking into a lot of this stuff. So if you guys ultimately want to see what I'm doing with my money, how I'm diversifying my profits, and where I'm actually going to be selling, what I'm going to be selling at the end of this year, check it out. Now's the opportunity to getting in and doing that. Like I said, 50% off all my products. So go check it out. Links are in the description. And with that being said, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.